I believe the riskiest thing you can do is playing it safe. A lot of people think that safety is comfortable, but it actually keeps you really stagnant, kills momentum, and actually compounds your fear. So the first thing I want to talk about today is actually the term high achieving. I have been receiving so much interesting feedback from my students in Kainat and also in other places that they never identified or saw themselves as high achieving, which is really interesting because from my perspective, when I look at their life, they're super high achieving. And this is something that I've been really called to scream from the rooftops recently because it's very interesting that people who are not high achieving, meaning they're pretty stagnant in their life, they are trying to get to base level comfort and safety and then just park themselves there, often call themselves high achieving. And the people that are high achieving judge themselves because they don't, quote unquote, they're not there yet, like wherever they think they need to get to be able to earn the title of high achieving. And so this is quite interesting. I knew that my daughter was high achieving when she was 18 months. And what this term actually means is you are the kind of person that is driven, and when you have ideas, when you have inspiration, you move. Okay, you're the one that is the last person standing no matter what. High achieving is not tied to an income level. I think that's where the block is. You think high achieving is about income? No, you could be in college and you can be high achieving and you haven't started earning, your fullest potential yet. I mean, will we ever really earn our fullest potential? Like, God is limitless, right? And so please don't tie high achieving to a number in the bank account or a number that you're earning right now. Tie it to, are you the kind of person that shows up for yourself? Are you the kind of person that backs yourself up? Are you the kind of person that's I'm willing to do anything to meet my goals, to meet my desires? Are you the one that moves towards the thing that you want? That's high achieving. It means that at any scale, at any point, whatever you touch turns to gold because you have resilience, you have staying power, you have grit, you show up for yourself, you say what you're gonna do and you do what you're gonna say. You are a woman of your word. That is high achieving. When you have all of those qualities, you can't help but make money. You can't help but get all of the, quote unquote, outward facing success things, right? You just can't help it because you're gonna do it no matter what. And so when I'm using that term, that's who I'm defining. That's high achieving. I mean, really, it's the ones with the huntress gene, right? Like we talked about in my frequency of certainty masterclass. 10% of the human population has this genome, 50%, let's say, are women. However, as women, we haven't been really allowed to use this huntress genome in the way that we really want to use it. We're here to create massive success for ourselves and the planet. We are visionaries, right? We're innovators. We're the ones that are gonna do things that have never been done before. And so when we're sitting and just playing at base safety level, we're keeping ourselves small and we're actually keeping the planet small. And one of the things that I've learned is when you hesitate, when you're playing it safe, fear compounds. It has time to compound. It's like bacteria. It's like a virus. It grows so much in your life. I've seen this in so many places. The example that's coming to mind right now is I've noticed that people who have, let's say, a little bit of social anxiety, okay? And they get themselves in a life situation where they don't really have to leave their house a lot. And for whatever reason, they just order food in, and maybe you get married and your husband's providing and you don't have to leave the house a lot. What I've seen with these women is that their little bit of social anxiety compounds now where they're afraid to leave the house. And so what happened is that what they thought was risky, oh my God, I don't want to go to the party, I don't want to go to the thing, I have social anxiety or whatever, playing it safe became their biggest risk. Now, instead of something that was small, it's turned into like a full-blown disorder. I've actually worked with clients like that quite a bit early on in my career, where these women were like afraid to leave their house. Like going to the grocery store would become this huge panic state. And as I was coaching them, I learned that they weren't like that before they had the situation where they didn't have to leave the house. They created this like safe bubble, but then the safe bubble actually made them sick. And so I do think that there is this sickness that we're creating in ourselves by just trying to make ourselves as safe as possible. And I think part of this just goes back to our evolutionary history. Like, we do come from a genetic history where life was really hard and life was really risky. And so we've continuously created more and more safety on the planet, more and more safety, more and more safety. And in a short amount of time, we've created massive safety, except our brain hasn't evolved to catch up with that. And because our brain hasn't evolved to catch up, we're still feeling quite unsafe. It's so interesting, but more and more humans feel unsafe and they feel like the world is an unsafe place. But if you look at our history, no, it's like not, if you compare, it's unsafe. It's getting safer and safer and safer. However, our brain can't catch up with that, and it's constantly looking for those threats. And this shows up in so many ways, where you get to a certain level in your marriage, in your like romance, and then you cap it because you're like, okay, this is safe. Going more will rock the boat, and I'd rather be safe than take that chance. I'd rather just, hold back. And even though I'm not like fully feeling seen or met, or I know there's more for us, I'm just gonna pull back, right? Same thing can happen when reaching for an income level. This one is huge. Okay, raise your hand if you felt this, because I'll be the first to like raise all my hands. This happens at every income level, and I swear that I'm never gonna do this to myself. And then it happens again at a next income level. Is you get to a place, and especially if you are driven, if you are a huntress, if you are high achieving, with my definition, not the one you created in your mind. Yes, you are high achieving if you're watching my content. Okay, I am a vortex that like magnetizes huntresses to my world. So if you're watching my content, there is a huge chance, I can pretty much guarantee it, that you are a huntress. And if you're watching this content, every time you get to a big income level, whether it's in your business or career, right? You get comfortable there. And even though you know in the depth of your soul that there's more, because God is infinite, you know that there is more for you. And why does God dangle this desire of more money? Because the more money means you have to create more value. That means you have to use that part of you that is the innovator, that's the visionary, okay? You have to now go beyond yourself, play beyond your current edge to be able to call forth that money. That's why that desire for more money shows up. But then you get in your head and you start saying, well, I'm like comfortable making this right now, and making more may require me to do things differently, which may rock the boat here. Like, this is so comfortable. I don't want to risk this comfort at the expense of making more. And that's where I'm here to tell you that every time you say that I'm just gonna play it safe, I'm gonna play it small, that is actually one of the riskiest moves that you can make. Like, are you really here on this planet? You went through everything to go through the birth canal, like all the things, make it all the way here, wherever you are in your current life, to like cap yourself here? Are you saying that this is the end of your life? Like, this is where all growth stops? And so everything that you do desire requires the stretching of your nervous system so you can actually hold more risk in yourself. And if you need help with this, my 3-week nervous system reboot is freaking out of this world. Like, this is my course that will get you instant results, not only today, but every day they compound. So whatever results you feel when you take the course today, tomorrow they will compound. The next day they will compound. The next day they will compound. And that means not double, compound. And we all know that Einstein called the compound effect the 8th wonder of the world, right? Like, it's something that our brain can't even comprehend. Now, if you're playing it small, if you're like, oh my God, I just want to be comfortable and like safely wait until I comfortably die, that's also going to compound. Fear compounds like you won't believe. This is why I'm so obsessed with speed. And by the way, class 1 starts today. I couldn't sleep last night. I was so excited. I was so buzzing with energy teaching this course that I couldn't sleep. So I can't wait to see you guys in there. What I do is I move so fast that by the time fear catches up to me, I'm like, I've already done the thing. So instead of compounding fear, I compound courage. Speed requires courage. And so you're still compounding. Like whether you're compounding risk or you're compounding fear or you're compounding courage, like you're gonna compound something in your life. You might as well compound what you want to compound. And here's the thing, babe, every time you choose comfort over expansion, you're literally shrinking your potential. So what happens is when we're not doing the thing that is in the desire of our heart, like God has put that desire in your heart and you're playing it safe, you're not moving forward, what happens internally, you start breeding resentment. You start feeling like what's going on, like something's wrong, something's off. Your life starts literally shrinking. Meanwhile, time is still moving. And the other huntresses that you might be watching online, or maybe you have them in your life, they're moving forward. And the delta between you and the world, and you and your full potential, and you and your future self, and you and these other huntresses keeps growing. And then you start creating a whole identity and story around it, right? To back yourself up of why you're keeping yourself small. And then you'll start saying, oh, well, it's those women over there that can do it. Maybe it's just something's wrong with me. Maybe I'm blocked. That's such a big one. Maybe you're not blocked. You're just not taking action. Maybe you're just like playing it small and literally not doing the thing you're supposed to do. And that will shrink your potential because now you're creating an entire identity out of something that you just could have done the damn thing already. You could have been on the other side of risk. And you would have learned that it always seems a lot scarier before you've taken the action. It always does. Like as someone that's like, I have taken the biggest risks in my life and gotten the biggest like rewards for it, like high risk, high reward. Like I feel like people who have a high metabolism for risk create beautiful, amazing lives and become such a big like lighthouse for other people as well. They're the ones that are heavily rewarded. And should they not be? Right? They should be, because they're the ones that are like, okay, everyone's running away from the fire, I'll run towards the fire. Everyone's running away from risk, I'm gonna run towards the risk. Okay, I'm gonna do the thing, however scary it is, because that's just who I am. They're building their identity around that while you're literally collapsing your identity. In my opinion, that is such a huge cost of playing it small. Like, we're here on this planet, like you're here already. You might as well make the most of it. And you already probably are. If you're a huntress, you're already achieving so much. But I'm telling you that I've met the most brilliant huntresses. I mean, they're literally in my Kainat container in my mentorship program. And at all of them, even though they're freaking brilliant and amazing, there's still places where there's edges. There's always going to be edges. I have edges. I'm sure Oprah has edges, like everyone has edges, right? And so the trick is to be able to stretch your nervous system and then play beyond the next edge instead of just playing it small. And I think most women aren't afraid of risk as much as they're afraid of feeling uncertainty in their body. Like it's really your nervous system hasn't been trained to metabolize fear, to metabolize uncertainty. And these are things you're going to have to learn to do and stretch around if you want to go to the next thing. And whether this next thing for you is marriage or babies or wealth or being in your dream body or being in your dream house or being the kind of woman that has multiple cars or whatever the thing is for you, right? Like we all have that thing that's like, ooh, like that's the next thing. That's the thing that you need to stretch your nervous system around. And I have a whole library of exercises and things in the Nervous System Reboot, which is linked in the description box. Here's the thing, risk is the fastest path to wealth and growth. What I've noticed is all the successful entrepreneurs, wealthy people on the planet seem pretty reckless to the rest of society. Because when you're only committed to playing safe, when you're committed to like, I just want to like have enough bread to get through the day, like just be like comfortable and just park myself here. Of course, anyone else that's like feeling alive, moving towards their dreams, creating positive change on the planet, like, you know, the rest of the human population is gonna sit around and they're gonna call them reckless, they're gonna call them greedy, they're gonna call them crazy, they're gonna call them names because that helps them justify, you know, their smallness. And so another thing you're gonna have to learn to do as a huntress is you're going to have to trust yourself and stretch your capacity to ignore that noise, right? Like, so for me in my personal life, like I'm not going to take advice, criticism, anything like that from someone that's not doing big things. It doesn't even have to be big things exactly in the arena that I'm doing them, but they need to be doing big things. Otherwise, it's an uneducated opinion, right? It's an unexperienced opinion, and those are everywhere. Like those are everywhere. They're useless, and they've got no place in my life. And so that's kind of the attitude that you need to adapt. And I've seen that the most successful people on the planet, they don't sit around giving opinions about other people's like what other people should do or not do, right? Like you have to pay them, you have to be in their mentorship containers. And so the free advice that's just kind of like coming at you, like don't do this, don't do that. I have this funny thing I say to my clients to help them really lock this in, is that the more opinions you let into your life, the more you double, triple, compound limiting beliefs. Because people who have parked themselves in the small chair, in the small life, they're like compounding fear. And so if you show up in their field and you're doing scary things to them, you might be doing scary things even to you, but you're doing the things, they're going to be like terrified of you. And they're gonna try to say, be careful, be careful. Be careful is one of the worst things you can say to someone, actually. If like, I know that I had to really train myself not to do that to my kids, because it's almost like ingrained in us as moms to be like, be careful, be careful, be careful. It actually subconsciously programs your children and other people to remain in a state of fear. You're actually, people that are constantly be careful to you, they're hypnotizing you in their fear spell. I mean, I have no better way to say it. They're hypnotizing you in their fear spell. So you need to remove yourself from that field and like block off that noise. That doesn't mean you have to cut people off, but don't be letting that seep in. You need to be telling yourself, be brave, be brave, be brave, be courageous, okay? You need to program yourself to be able to take those bigger actions, because as a huntress, I know that before the first thing even shows up, the next desire is already waiting in line, because you are literally a visionary. You're here to do big, amazing things. So don't let anyone, even yourself, talk you out of it, because honestly, playing safe is the riskiest thing that a huntress can do. As a huntress, as a $1 million babe, you're also going to have to learn not to be codependent with life. What does it mean to be codependent with life? Codependency with life means like, I'm gonna be happy and I'm gonna be okay as long as life is acting perfectly. As long as like all the, you know, ducks are in the row, the weather is perfect, I didn't get cut off in traffic today, my partner agrees with everything I'm saying in this moment, then I'm happy. As long as life gets, as the minute life gets turbulence, the weather isn't right, my friend is running late, like now I can't be happy. Like my whole mood is ruined, right? Like my day is ruined because the outside factors are not cooperating. So this is how I want you to start like thinking about this. Are you codependent with life? Like, are you so dependent on everyone saying the right things, everyone agreeing with you, everyone applauding you, that you can't even like move forward unless all the things are like the stars are aligned? Like that, I feel like that would be such a miserable way to live, because that would literally put me in an addiction to suffering, because life is gonna life. Life is gonna do its thing. Life is gonna throw its curveballs. That's what separates the visionaries, the innovators, the top 1% from everyone else. And I actually like that the path to success is curvy. It's bumpy. I like it because that makes it more exciting. That makes the game worthy. So this is the day. Sign up for the 3-week nervous system reboot, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.